All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to travel back in time to unpack this totally wild story about flowers, fortunes, and, yeah, a massive crash that actually holds a powerful secret for building your own wealth today.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a 400-year-old story, but trust me, it is the secret key to understanding why markets get so emotional, even now. And it's a total game changer for learning how to tend to your own little financial garden.
And this quote, it really gets to the absolute heart of the mystery, doesn't it? When you're inside that bubble, every single move you make feels completely logical. So our job today is to figure out why it feels so right, even when it's about to go so wrong. Ooh, okay, this is my favorite part. Seriously, just take a second and picture it. We're in 17th century Holland, right? It's their golden age, and the hottest thing you can possibly own. The biggest luxury item is in gold, it's not jewels, it's a single tulip bulb. And this isn't some fairy tale, it really happened. It was called tulip mania, and it was 100% real. So you gotta be asking, how on earth did we get to a place where a flower was literally worth a fortune? To understand the magic, or, maybe the madness, we have to look at the world where this was all taking place. The whole country was just buzzing. There was this incredible new energy because in 1602, the world's very first modern stock exchange opened in Amsterdam. And all of a sudden, the idea of investing your money, of making it grow, wasn't just for this tiny club of super rich merchants anymore. It was starting to open up to more people. That's exactly right. This new system, which we now call the capital markets, basically created what you could call a prosperity flywheel. People could invest their savings, that money would help businesses grow, and then that success would flow right back to the investors. I mean, what a revolutionary idea for the time. And this is the part that just blows my mind. You look at who was getting involved, and yeah, most of the early investors were really wealthy, but about 10% were just regular people. We're talking about shopkeepers, artisans, I think there were even a couple of maids. It just goes to show you, right from the very beginning, people from all walks of life saw the market as a way to a brighter future. But here's the thing. The story of tulip mania, and honestly every market since then, isn't just about numbers in a book. It's really about psychology. It's about all the hopes and fears and little quirks of the human mind. So let's dig into how that all connects. Okay, so this is the million-dollar question, right? If everybody is making money and feeling like a genius, why does the party always have to end? It's like you're building this gorgeous palace out of sugar crystals, and it's sparkling, and then the rain comes. Why does that happen? Well, for a very long time, the old way of thinking about finance saw the market as this perfect, logical, clockwork machine. Everything was rational, and prices always reflected the true value of things. But then this new idea, behavioral finance, gives us this much more colorful and I think way more accurate picture, the human market. It's not a cold machine. It's more like a wild, beautiful garden that's totally driven by our feelings, by stories, and by our psychology. It's not about logic, it's about people. And in that human garden, sometimes a speculative bubble starts to grow. That's just a fancy way of saying a time when sheer excitement causes the price of something, a tulip bulb, a tech stock, whatever, to just soar way beyond what it's actually worth. The price basically gets disconnected from reality because the story feels so much better than the numbers. So, if we're going to be good financial gardeners, we have to understand the secret rules of how this whole human market works. And it turns out, there are a few really big ones. Exactly. And these are the psychological biases that can kind of trip us up. Things like herd behavior, where we just follow what everyone else is doing. Overconfidence, where we start to think we can't possibly lose. And loss aversion, where the pain of losing feels way worse than the joy of winning. And these aren't flaws. They're just part of being human. Let's take that first one, herd behavior. It's this really deep, almost primal instinct to just do what the group is doing. It feels safer in the crowd, right?
Oh, it's totally like watching a flock of starlings. You know how they all just turn at the exact same second? It's like magic. Well, in the market, when everyone starts buying something, that pull to join in is so incredibly powerful, even if you haven't looked into it yourself. You trust the herd.
Now, what's so fascinating about all this is that while the things people are buying change, we go from tulips to tech stocks, the human psychology behind it all is completely timeless. These patterns just repeat over and over again.
Just look at this. It's wild. In the 1630s, it's tulips. You fast forward to the year 2000, and it's internet stocks and the dot-com bubble. Then, just a few years ago, we all watched the GameStop frenzy with meme stocks. It is literally the same human story, just wearing a different outfit. Yeah, this analysis from JP Morgan about the dot-com bubble just says it all. Hope over reality. The story about what the internet could be was so big and so exciting that investors were pouring money into companies that had no profits. Some didn't even have a real product. The hope for the future just completely wiped out the reality of the present.
And GameStop was like tulip mania for the internet age. It proved that a really passionate crowd of regular investors, all getting organized online, could make a stock's price just explode, completely separate from how the company was actually doing. That's the human market in action right there.
So the big takeaway here is not to be afraid of all this, but to actually feel empowered by it. Once you understand these patterns, you have the key to tending your own financial garden so that it can grow and thrive no matter what the market seasons bring.
Yes, I love that. This is where we learn how to grow our own golden eggs without having a panic attack every time there's a little storm.
And the steps to do it are actually beautifully simple. First, you diversify. You plant lots of different kinds of seeds, so you're not putting all your hopes on one single flower bulb, right? Second, you build in a margin of safety. You have to assume that your plan won't go perfectly according to plan.
And my personal favorite, think long term. You can't grow a healthy garden in just one day. You have to learn to enjoy the changing seasons and not freak out during the winters, because the winters will definitely come.
This quote from the legendary investor Benjamin Graham is just everything. A margin of safety is like building a nice, sturdy fence around your garden. It means you don't have to be a perfect fortune teller. You don't have to predict exactly when the next storm will hit to know that your plants are going to be okay. It is your financial safety net.
And at the end of the day, this is why any of it matters. The goal isn't just to get a bigger number in your bank account. The real prize, the absolute highest form of wealth, is freedom. It's being able to wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. That's so true. Tending your financial garden is really about cultivating a life that gives you more choice, more security, and more control over your own time. That is the best return on investment you could ever ask for. So, the real lesson from all this isn't about chasing the next hot stock or the next tulip. It's about you. It's about knowing that your journey is totally unique.
Exactly. So think about it. What's one small seed you can plant today? Maybe it's saving a little extra, or learning something new, or just sitting down to make a plan. What's that first step you can take to start growing your own freedom? That is the real secret from this 400-year-old story.